Hello everybody, this is House Gaming and welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Shadows Over Loathing. In the previous episode, we helped out the Leather Brothers to get a voice for, their mute brother. Unfortunately, it didn't have quite the happy ending. But then we helped a couple of moonshiners get their whiskey back, so it's all good. And now, we're gonna help out all these kids with their, monster hunting related problems. This kid is, well, he's eating something. Hi there. Hi. I don't mean to be rude, but what's your deal, kid? I'm a moss man. You are, huh? Okay, well, not really, but I want to be a moss man when I grow up. And that's why I'm eating all this fertilizer. It's actually cornflakes. I'm just pretending. Okay, phew. Yeah, I'm not crazy. Some people say I'm crazy for believing in the moss man, though. I know he's real. I've seen him. What's a moss man? A man made of moss? Yep, he's all fuzzy and green. It's so neat. Oh, hey, you should go see him for yourself. Then, if you bring back proof he exists, people won't think I'm weird anymore. Well, they might. Yeah, sure, I'll go have a look. Great. Here, I'll mark the place on your map. It's called Moss Rock Grotto. If you see him, try to bring back some moss as proof, okay? Okay. This kid is preoccupied with repeatedly smelling 2 large test tubes. What you got there? Perfume samples? Kinda. This one's a combination of hydrogen sulfide and methane. Common swamp gas, basically. Ew. What's the other one? Coffee to clear the swamp gas smell out of my nose. Huh. Okay, so why? I'm researching a creature known as the smell of the wisp. I've only run into it once, but I have a good memory for smells, so I figured if I can match its smell, that particular chemical mix will tell me more about it. A smell of the what? A wisp. It's a cloud of intelligent swamp gas. Some people say it's the ghost of a dead chili cook-off judge, but I think there's probably a more scientific explanation. You're telling me you're looking for an intelligent... The girl gestures sternly at the sign over her workbench. No fart jokes. Oh, come on. It's a smell of the wisp. No. Well, I don't know what to say then. If you're willing to help instead of make puerile goose, I could really use a sample to analyze. Can I use your equipment to make some potions? Sure, just don't disturb any of the smells. Okay, I'll go find the smell of the wisp. Okay. Great, thank you. Here, take this. It should help you track the thing down. Nose trumpet. Big cone designed to make it so people who have lost their sense of smell can still tell what they've stepped in. I just smell through it? Yeah, just follow your nose. Alrighty then. This kid has a ball cap with a sinister-looking triangle on it, and is messing around with elaborate homemade radio. Hi there. Hi. Say, you're a grown-up. Can you help me with something? I'm not buying you any cigarettes. No. There's this swamp lady named Barbara Yargara. In other words, Baba Yaga. Everybody says she's just a fairy tale, but I know she's real because I've seen her hut right here in the swamp. I don't know if she's the sort of swamp lady who eats kids or not. Swamp lady? Well, I don't want to call her a swamp witch or a swamp hag or stuff like that. It would be mean to judge her that way without having even met her. Sheesh, kids these days. Yeah, shame kids can't be more like that. Not judging people. Whatever. Alright, I'll check her out for you. Great, thanks. Here, I'll mark her hut on your... sponge? Map? Anyway, bring back a feather to prove you met her, okay? She has feathers? I mean, from one of her pet birds. Stories say she has a ton of them. How will you know it isn't just an ordinary feather I found from somewhere? Well, you seem like a trustworthy person. Then why do you need me to bring proof at all? Because that's how quests work. Come on. Ask about the radio. Wait, you mentioned the radio. What's the radio for? Oh, this isn't related to Barbara Yargara or anything. I'm just trying to find a station so we can get some music in here. Reception in the swamp is terrible, though. I see. Any chance you can get WGCR on that radio? I can't seem to get any station right now. Sorry. Okay, I was just curious. And nice hat. What's the triangle mean? Thanks. It's the Great Pyramids. One of them, anyway. Ever seen them? Only on your hat, not personally. Well, maybe you will someday. Sure, who knows? Hi there. Are you, into flies? Well, kinda. They're interesting once you get over the gross factor, but mostly I'm just studying these because of what I'm really interested in is the flyman. The flyman? Yeah, or maybe the manfly? I haven't decided which way is better yet. So, what is the flyman and or manfly? He's a scientist that moved into the old Flemberg place. I did a little spying on him, and I think he's trying to turn himself into a giant fly. Why would anyone want to do that? I don't know. That's what's so interesting about him. Huh. She looks at her feet and blushes a little. Also, he's really handsome. For now, you mean? Well, yeah, I'd really like to meet him, but I'm too shy. Can you help me out? Sure, I'll help. Oh, thank you, thank you. Here, I'll show you where the house is. Old Flemberg place. If you meet him, could you, bring me back a souvenir? Like what? Maybe, one of his chest hairs? Sure. This kid is messing around with some kind of weird mechanical contraption. Talk to him. What's this thing you're making? I don't really know yet. I'm just kind of messing around with it because I'm taking a break from my main project. Hey, do you know anything about the chupa naranja? I try to avoid spicy foods. It gives me the hiccups. No, this is a kind of monster that eats oranges. They're supposed to be from way down south, but I know there's one in this swamp somewhere. Unfortunately, no matter what kind of trap I build, it keeps escaping. Do you want to try? Sure, why not? Great, feel free to use my workbench over there. I've got plenty of spare parts and stuff. If you manage to catch it, bring back one of its nostrils as proof, okay? Nostril? Not a whole head or pelt? Oh no, I don't want to kill it. Just prove that it's out there. Alright. Well, thankfully I've got all the stuff I need to make the best trap possible. Let's see. You grab some scrap metal from a bench and construct a very basic trap. Would you like to make any refinements? Tighten the spring. Grab a wrench and tighten the trap's main spring. Adjust the torque. Grab a screwdriver and carefully adjust the torque. Tweak the trigger sensitivity. Grab a pair of needle-nose pliers and carefully adjust the sensitivity of the trigger. Add a battery. You connect the battery to a couple of random spots on the trap. That's sure to accomplish something. Add a fuse. You hook up a fuse, just in case. Well, that's good enough. You carefully pick up the trap and then carelessly shove it into your sack. It's homemade chupa naranja trap of dubious quality. Let's go hunting! Alright, we've picked up all the quests for these kids. Let's head on out and see what we can find. See, you're browsing your way through a swamp, taking a sniff through your nose trumpet now and then. This swamp smells terrible. I mean, a swamp is literally just standing water and rotting compost, the biome. So it's not like that's news or anything, but you wouldn't be surprised if this swamp was at least nominated for World's Worst Smelling Swamp. Oh, God in heaven, what is that? Something smells like a rotten egg mated with a tire fire, and the egg and the tire fire laid and also went rotten. Squinting through the tears, you see a patch of brown air hovering nearby. That must be the smell of the wisp that kid was looking for. Run up and grab it. Holding your nose and your breath, you run up and snatch the wisp before it can fly away, collecting a clump of air so foul it sticks to your hand. Fortunately, you've got an empty jar you can scrape it off into. Stinky ester. An essential distillation of foulness. Blech. This isn't so much a bird bath as a bird dirtier. Well, let's see what the hot rod can get us. Fish in a sack and some meat on the line. Yikes. You cautiously enter the spooky hut and discover it's actually really nice inside. A young woman, or rather a twig-oriented hat, a young woman with a rather twig-oriented hat greets you. Oh, hello. Please come in. I don't get many visitors apart from the birds. I might be in the wrong place. Are you Barbara Yargara? That's correct, and you are? Natalia Hunt. Pleasure. Come in, come in. This is a really nice house. To be honest, I was expecting everything to be a lot more, you know, witchy. Oh, you've heard the old stories. Those are about my granny. She was really into croning. Croning? Being a crone, you know. All the really old traditional magic stuff. She lived to be nearly 200 years old when she passed. When she passed, she left me this house, and all her birds, and so on. I see. Is that why you're here? Chasing the old legends of Barbara Yargara? Well, not exactly. I met a kid who's into the old stories, but he was afraid you might be a child-eating kind of witch, so he sent me instead. That's adorable. I don't think I've ever eaten a child, but there's no telling what was in Granny's stews. I'm not sure if that was meant as a joke or... Sure! Anyway, I'm supposed to take back a feather. To prove that I've met you? Okay. I can't just give you one, though. Are you sure? Yes, sorry, I have to give you some kind of test for it. It's a traditional thing. What sort of test? Well, it's a lot of work keeping this room clean, what with the birds and all. I'm getting behind on my other chores. Ugh, chores. Or you could fight me. Fight you? Granny trained all these birds to be killers, but I haven't exactly been looking out for trouble like I've been out looking for trouble like she used to, so they can use some exercise, you know. Tell me about these chores. We can actually get something for doing the chores. I need you to muck out the bird bath out front, pick the ripe cattails out of my cattail patch for me. It's only 2 things. Isn't there a 3rd thing? Of course, but I'll tell you about that after you finish the first 2. Okay, I'll do the chores. Great, you can tell the ripe cattails by how they look a little different. I'm sure you saw the bird bath when you came in. Got it. Small bird bath. Huh, I've never seen an indoor bird bath before. Oh, that was a gift. It's too small for my birds, though. I'd be happy to give it to you along with that feather if you help me out. Okay. I wonder... Oh yeah, I never made the dough baby. I got the sandwich cream so long ago. You carefully follow the recipe and whip up a little dough baby. Give it a name. I'm not good with names, so I'm just going to use whatever they give me. Little Mel the dough baby. You've made a friend. Heals its owner. Alright. Let's muck it out. You slop the filth out of the bird bath and hide it behind a tree where no one can see it. This cattail might be one of the ripe ones. Pick it. Pick it. This cattail is ripe, which I suppose means it's suitable for whatever purpose Barbara uses them. This cattail is huge. It's like a lion tail. Hello, how are those chores going? I've finished. Here's your cattails. Great, thanks. So what's the mysterious 3rd task? Go down in the basement and fetch a sack of birdseed for me. Basement? You have a basement in a swamp? It's weird, I know. I think Granny's magic keeps it from collapsing. It, also makes it kind of scary down there. You have a flashlight, right? Yeah, I have a flashlight. Fuse box is broken beyond repair. You have no choice but to dwell in the darkness. Oh, Barbara wasn't kidding about it being uncomfortably dark down here. Go deeper. How long is this basement? You're pretty sure you should have reached the back wall by now. Go deeper. Makes sense why she keeps this thing in the basement. Turn back. You don't particularly want to know what this puddle consists of. The scariest thing about this is the kerning. Jeez, that's a lot of rats. Are they whispering, get out? You can hear that, right? It's not just me. Go deeper. The ground has started to shake and bits of dirt are falling from the ceiling. The rumbling noise almost sounds like someone growling, "Your soul is mine." It seems like bad news. Go deeper. These must be the original Barbara Yarga's magic books. Unfortunately, it's dark as the inside of a dog down here. The ground is shaking more violently, fiercely even. The walls howl, "Die, fool!" at you as rocks start falling from the ceiling, threatening to bury you alive. Go deeper. Finally, get the seed and get out of here. You got an item. Bag of birdseed. Hello, how are those chores going? Here's your sack of birdseed. You, kind of undersold how scary it is down there. Sorry about that. Maybe I can learn a charm to keep the mice away. And the voices, the bleeding walls... Doesn't sound familiar. Maybe your flashlight was acting up? Anyway, here. Anyway, thanks. Here's that feather I promised. Barbara Yagara's feather. It's a feather from one of Barbara's birds, and not Barbara herself. Thanks. You said I could have this little bird bath? Sure, take it with my blessing. Except not a literal blessing. I don't know how to do those yet. Really should have dumped the water out before you started carrying it around. Thanks. Alrighty then. Well, I've got the smell of the wisp, I've got Barbara's feather. May as well head to the Moss Rock Grotto. Take care of these all at once. That's odd. This patch of muddy ground has a lot of tracks in it that look like human handprints. Well, except for the fact that humans don't normally walk around on their hands. Maybe there was an acrobat convention in the middle of a swamp. Oh, what was that thing that one kid was talking about? The honey ape? And maybe there's something to that after all. Follow the tracks. Geez, the more you look, the more of a confusing trample of mess these tracks are. Seems like there are different sets of tracks heading in different directions. How many things did he say this thing has? again, on one hand? 1. How many fingers was it? 4. You follow the prints to a clearing in the middle of a small stand of trees, and to your surprise you find an animal pretty much like the honey ape the kid described. Like a somewhat larger chimpanzee or a very small gorilla, but with disproportionately large and human-like hands. It's sitting on the ground casually drinking out of a beehive and doesn't seem to have noticed you yet. Sneak up on it. You successfully creep up on the unsuspecting primate, but you run out of trees and bush to hide behind before you get close enough to really do anything. Outsmart it. You pick up a rock and chuck it into the underbrush on the other side of the clearing. The honey ape stiffens at the noise and starts scanning for predators in that direction. Rabbit. You leap on the small primate and wrestle it to the ground, screeching loudly. I mean, the primate is screeching. No, let's be fair, you both are. Once you get it pinned, you grab it by the wrist and you yank off one of its long, untrimmed fingernails. Which, thinking about it, is making me wince, and I've written some pretty horrible stuff in this game alone. Honey ape fingernail. Totally normal-sized fingernail. Marvel at it. With that horrible deed accomplished, you let the creature loose and it runs screaming into the swamp. Congratulations on successfully stalking, outsmarting, and assaulting a small weird ape. Thanks. Well, if it isn't the Moss Man that kid was talking about, we've got a real unusual coincidence here. He doesn't exactly look fearsome, but if you're looking for a fight, it might be best to take advantage of the surprise. Nah. Excuse me, are you a Mossman? Yep, that's me, Clyde Mossman. Pleased to meet ya. Hi, I'm Talia Hunt. Welcome to my humble abode. I ain't get many visitors, well, except some weird kid I sometimes see poking around the trees. Are you actually Moss Man? Ain't quite sure I get your meaning. That's my last name, like I said, yes, but are you a human person or some sort of moss swamp creature? I get that this is a strange and possibly rude question. Well, I weren't always this way, but I've been living in this swamp a long time. Just kinda dug in and got comfortable. Moss just sorta grew out of me natural-like now, instead of hair. I guess it happened so gradual, and I got so accustomed to it, it didn't occur to me to question it. Whoops. Sorry. I didn't mean to give you some kind of philosophical crisis. No apology necessary, friend. But it is something I'm gonna be chewing on for a while. Can I, have some of your moss? Excuse me? You drop an existential bombshell on me and now you're asking for a part of my body? I'm really not in top social form today, I guess. I do need some of that moss, though. Well, I'll tell you what. Help me solve this puzzle of whether I'm a man or a monster, and I'll give you some of the moss. Well, the way I see it, you seem intelligent, can hold a conversation, and haven't tried to murder me for my delicious organ meats. How do you know they're delicious? So I figure, what does it really mean to be human anyway? You may well be less Homo sapien and more whatever the technical term for moss is. Does it really matter in the grand scheme of things? What's really important is just being a good person. Whatever kind of person you are. Well, that's real, even if it's an extremely weird kind of person. Well, that's real good of you to say, friend. I guess that answers my question. Great. Here, let me give you some of my moss, like I promised. He peels off some of his mustache and hands it to you. You got an item, Mossman's mustache. A lip-shaped slab of moss. Thanks. Say, are you a hobo? Huh? Well, ain't the thing about hobos that they're always on the move? I feel like I'm practically the opposite of a hobo. I happen to know a group of hobos that'll settle down and build themselves a pretty nice camp. I bet you'd be welcome there if you're interested. Well, now, I do value my solitude, but I certainly couldn't do any harm to visit and see. In fact, I do believe I'm due for a vacation. Heh. Mark the location of the hobo camp on Clyde's map, and he heads off into the swamp with a wave. Moss is twinkling for some reason. Well, my minor was not in plants, so don't matter to me. Alrighty then. Now it's time to hit up the Flemberg place. And maybe encounter the Chupa Naranja along the way. In a gloomy grove of sunken cypress trees, a well-muscled woman stands waist-deep in the opaque bog. Her hands rest on the pommel of a sword, its blade lodged in the muck. It catches your eye because it's not the type of thing you tend to see on the East Coast. What sword is that? This is the blade of your great aunt. Many moons ago it was entrusted to my family for safekeeping. Now it is yours to reclaim for a cost. What great aunt? Have you forgotten your lineage, girl? The time was every tavern and meeting house kept a place by the fire for Hilda Hunt. Why do I have to pay for my family's sword? The security guaranteed by my family is unique and comes with a great price. Your great aunt knew this. It is why she placed the blade in our care. Okay, what's the cost? In time I shall ask of you a boon, and you shall be obliged to grant it. Sure, I can do a boon. Let's have the sword. Great Aunt's Sword. Deals your muscle plus 5 physical damage. You may or may not have a Great Aunt, but nobody can deny you have a great sword. Sword has a satisfying heft. You can see why your Great Aunt liked it so much. But with it comes something quite unsatisfying. There's something that makes you feel almost queasy and a little cursed. Swamp geese. This geese really grinds your gears. Perhaps that lady from the swamp will tell you soon about the boon she wants in exchange for this thing's removal. What's this? It is a simple magic, binding you to your oath until such time as I have need of your service. On that day I will find you. Can we just do the boon thing now? But she's gone, slipped away into the dark waters of the swamp. Better be a good sword. It's a great sword. Better be a good great sword. I mean, it is, and it would be if it wasn't for the fact that it's physical instead of any other element, and that it doesn't actually heal me. But then again, I haven't needed the healing, and I may as well make use of our Great Aunt's great sword. Some viscous goo renders this house entirely decorative. Its mailbox says Flemberg on the side. Rifle through it. You casually commit a federal crime. Junk mail. Honestly, I think I'm going to want to get rid of that geese, so let's head back to Ocean City, because we can actually get rid of it. Let's see, remove your geese. Hey, Jessica, does this thing get rid of geeses? Plural of goose is just geese. Why do you have geese? No, geese, like a curse, kind of. Oh, well then, sure, probably. Do it. Ah! Inside the contraption, you feel a whoosh, a pop, and a little pain. None like having your ears pierced. And indeed, there's a spurt of pus that follows the procedure, although not from where you think. Geese is gone. Sweet. Good stuff. Alright, back to the Big Moist. And to the Flemberg place. You there! An excessively jovial man struts out from behind the trees. New to these parts. Ever heard of our mud henge? I'll bet you didn't know that it's actually 1.3 times larger than any comparable henge you care to name. No, I didn't know that. But the man has already disappeared into the mist. Behind him, though, through the trees, is Mudhenge. Okay. We will be going to Mudhenge, just not yet. Let's see. Gas generator is providing power to the barn in exchange for a pastoral ambience. The very small man inside the machine is clearly trying to get your attention. Hi, I'm Talia. Do you need help? I absolutely need help, thank you. My name's Flemberg Paul. Paul Flemberg. I moved back into my parents' old house because nobody would give me lab space for my experiments. Turned out an assistant would have also been nice. What are you trying to do? Improve myself. You know, better, faster, stronger. At least one of those. But I put the wrong settings in the control console, and all that happened was that I shrank. You can't just change the settings? The door doesn't open from the inside. But, yeah, I didn't think it through. Okay, well, I can just let you out. No. Opening the door will depolarize the booth, and it takes months for the field emitters to recharge. Not to mention the fact that I'd have to collect all new samples of genetic material, so the door can only be opened once. Geez, you really didn't think this through. What should I do, then? You have to fix the settings on the console. What should I set it to? Clearly, if I knew that, I wouldn't have put the wrong ones in myself. Just make me better before you open the door. Better than what? Better than a normal guy. I don't know. I spent so long thinking about how I could build this machine that I didn't have any time left to think about why I built it. I'll see what I can do. Now then, we can get a familiar out of this by turning him completely into a fly using these settings. We're not going to do that, though. Welding tools, a lot of things that you don't know what they do or what they are for. Hey, how's it going? Next to the workbench, there's a pile of much smaller workbenches. Take one. There are so many, he surely wouldn't mind. If this guy cared about his tools, he probably wouldn't have left them on the floor. Finders keepers, spray on asbestos, hot armor to a pair of pants, disposable ratchet. But here's the thing, I'm not going to do that to him. Let's see, body, Flemberg, things, pituitary. Alright, flip the pituitary lever. Okay. Oh, well, this is just the normal me like before. Even got in here. Like before I even got here. This is exactly what I do not want. Oh, right. You told me that. Now what? Lungs? Doesn't seem to be able to speak. No way the way he's breathing seems pretty uncomfortable too. No, let's not do that. Keep the lungs to that. Hat. Alright. Head lever. Oh, gross. He's violently clawing at the windows and buzzing angrily. Fortunately, unbreakable glass was the one thing he did think, though. Let's not. I don't know, flip the body. Lemberg is now a giant fly with a human head. Oh god, one sec, I'll try again. No, wait, this one's pretty great, actually. What? I can fly, and I have the proportionate strength of a fly scaled up to human size. What's not to love? Now what? Alright, I'll open the door. Are you sure? Yeah. Heck yeah, I can't wait to get up to all kinds of giant fly stuff. Well, before you go, I need a chest hair off of you. Do I still hold those? Oh well, whatever, sure. Flyman's chest hair. Luxurious hair from a chest of a truly remarkable specimen of masculinity. Thanks, it's for. I probably just don't want to know. I'm out. See ya. Okay, bye. Like I said, turning him completely into a fly will let us get it familiar, but I'm not that cruel. Alrighty then, there's all that. You know what? Let's head to Mudhenge. This is how we're going to get into the Securberus vault. It's going to be long and involved. I'm probably not going to get it this episode. Oh, you spot a color in this drab swamp. A spot of color in this drab swamp catches your eye, and you find a pile of withered orange husks in front of a shallow cave. This must be there of the Chupa Naranja. Fortunately, it isn't home right now, or maybe since you aren't an orange, it wouldn't be dangerous to you anyway. That almost certainly isn't true. Set your trap. You set your trap and hide behind a nearby bush to wait for your prey. After a while, you start to get very bored and remember that people who hunt with traps don't typically sit and wait for the prey to show up. Instead, they leave and come back later. That's kind of the whole point of animal traps. Leave and come back later. Welcome to Mudhenge. What is this place? Friend, it's Mudhenge. What's that? It's one of the area's most popular henges. Folks travel from all over to see this mysterious mud. I've heard of Stonehenge. Is it like that? I don't see the comparison. You don't. Look, we could talk for hours about Stonehenge. Stonehenge is big. Stonehenge is strong. I've gone over all this. So with respect, what I'm interested in talking about is Mudhenge, which is a formidable mountain, a formidable monument in its own right, and so much more than a first draft of Stonehenge, as they sometimes say in magazines. What's so special about Mudhenge? Special? Well, during the swamp solstice, it's said that the needle of a compass placed upon the central altar will point not to west, but secret west, where lies the thing you need the most. That special enough for you? When's the swamp solstice? If you're in a swamp, it's pretty much always the swamp solstice. What is secret west? I'm no mystician, but secret west is the direction in which lies the thing your heart is most missing. And it's said that a compass laid on the altar of Mudhenge during the swamp solstice will point to the secret west. That was the object of the Mudhenge challenge. But of course we don't run the challenge anymore. Too hard. Too many missing presumed deads. What does that mean, thing your heart is most missing? Well, it's kind of up to you. Up to your heart, that is. Could be a secret crush, new job, maybe just a piece of bread. I guess it could help me find Charles, huh? Charles, that's your secret crush? No. Well, whoever it is, they'll be waiting for you out Secret West way. I'd like to visit Mudhenge. Well, and why wouldn't you? It's the best and most mysterious henge this side of the border, and mission is to meet. What? No, border. I believe it's all of them. I don't pay for anything I can do for free. Thinking about hopping the fence? Sure, go ahead, but there's one thing you haven't counted on. You won't have the informational brochure that comes with your ticket. I'll pass. That's a pity. Here's the thing, I actually bought from her, but, I didn't see an entrance. Yes to this. Someone's going to lose their job at the fence factory. Squeeze on through. Now, Mudhenge is a very involved thing that you, well, need to take care of. But we don't have time for that right now. As a matter of fact, we're in the last few seconds of the episode. So, I'm going to end things off there for today. If you guys like what you see, please leave a like, subscribe for future content, don't forget to hit that bell icon to get notifications when I upload, and please leave a comment down below this video. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thanks for watching.